What is happening? Welcome to the episode I'm probably the most excited / scared / interested in seeing how it goes. Just so you know, I don't actually know how these are going to go when I start. I just I get an idea, I plug stuff in, and then we start. So we'll see. But this is probably the nearest and dearest topic to my heart is the epic, the amazing, the awesome Fuzzface. If you follow me on Instagram, if you have followed me here a little bit, you'll know my love of fuzz. What you may not know is that my love of fuzz only started right around the pandemic, right? I was at home. I was starting to get into electric guitar after playing acoustic for a really long time. Electric lap steel, obviously, but electric guitar. And I started with a DoD Carcosa fuzz, and I was like, this is really cool. I don't know that I had enjoyed fuzz before then. One of the things that I think is, it's hard for people who are just starting out, who are beginning to really understand how a fuzz works, because a fuzz is so interactive with the instrument. And that's true of all the different types of fuzz, but it's probably no more true than with the Fuzzface. Let me start where we start. I am tuned to open D tuning. I am today using my DCC Darkos. This is a Plexi style amp. I really like it for fuzz. We're going to talk about why. I also like my Black Volt, which is a Tweed style amp for a Fuzzface. One of the things I didn't really understand about Fuzzfaces, and this is the first really main key topic, is it's got to go into something that's breaking up a little bit. Otherwise, it's way too harsh. So this amp is not set clean. Pretty crunchy. I can get it clean. But it's not starting clean. Second thing is, this is not a shootout. I don't believe in shootouts. Depending on who's playing, what's playing, how it's being played, shootouts to me are a waste of time. So this is not a shootout. It is a comparison. I'm going to talk about some different options I have on the board. I have 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 Fuzzfaces hooked up right now, which is pretty hilarious. It's not all my Fuzzfaces, but it's a lot of them. And so let's start here. The basic characteristics of a Fuzzface. The characteristics of a Fuzzface is they clean up well. So volume all the way up. Okay, one of the key things with a Fuzzface is cleanup. So today I am using my lap steel with Firebird pickups in it. They're kind of like a big fat single coil sound. I don't have a treble bleed in here.
all of that affects the way that a fuzz face sees a guitar. So I just want to talk a little bit about the fuzz face before we get started. This is my Expresso Effects Germanium fuzz. It's based on an old fuzz face with Germanium transistors. That is the coolest thing, that I didn't realize what was happening with a lot of the Hendrix clean tones, with a lot of fuzz faces, the cleanup. So you can hear from full blast how quickly even I go down to 7, 8 on the volume knob. I don't know, there's no numbers on my volume knob, but it has this sort of clean, slightly overdriven thing going on, which is a really cool way for me to interact with my instrument, interact with the volume knob, interact with the tone knob. If my volume's all the way up and the tone, the tone makes the cleanup more dramatic too, because it's changing the way that fuzz faces see the instrument. So, real quick before we get into all the fun of comparing fuzz faces, and we're going to have some fun. The thing that I didn't understand as a beginner and as a newcomer to fuzz, even as an experienced player, was that the fuzz is really interacting to the impedance, I think that's the right word, that it's seeing from the guitar. So the length of cable matters. The transistors obviously matter. The type of pickups matter. Whether it has a treble bleed circuit inside matters. Every single thing matters, which is really cool because it means that each guitar interacts differently with each pedal. This again, how does this pedal sound? How does that pedal sound? It's really harder to say that with a fuzz face because every aspect of the chain matters. But let's get into it. So this is my, just real quick, let's just talk about the fuzzes I have. I have a 90s fuzz face. Let me turn that off. I have a 90s fuzz face. It's got what's considered NKT red dot transistors in there, but they're fake. If you want all the history of the transistors with the fuzz face, I'm not the right guy for that. Check out Analogman. He's sort of the king. There's two types of transistors. Again, for all the main differences, I don't get into all that stuff. It's really more for me, just how does it sound and how does it interact? Because one of the reasons I have 10 fuzz faces is they all sound different. None are better, none are worse. They're different, and these aren't even all fuzz faces. They're fuzz face based circuits that have some different things. So we have a 90s fuzz face. And I'm going full volume, bridge pickup, just flat out, and then we're gonna delve it. But there's your big tone, and then here's the kind of cleanup neck sound. I'm not going to go through the full range of controls on these. Most of them only have 2 knobs. Some of them have a 3rd. I'll talk about the other stuff. But most people would set their fuzz face up, volume all the way up, and then fuzz on like 9, 9.5. So that's kind of how I have them set. I have them kind of set the way I would set them. So again, it's not an A-B. It is a comparison, and I'm just talking about what I'm using. So 90s fuzz face. All the way up. It's a pretty great sound. I'm gonna go to this. This is built by the Valvinist. He's only available, I think, on Instagram. This is an old British military enclosure. It's also big, similar to the size to the fuzz face. The thing that it has that the original fuzz face didn't is a input cap selector. So here it is with the most bass. Middle bass. And then the thinnest bass. The one that sounds the most The one that sounds closest to the original for me is the middle bass setting, so I'm going to use that one, or it sounds the best to me, so that's the one I'm using. Here it is. And cleanup. This next one's from Paperboy. It's point to point in this really beautiful way. Marcus Reeves at Reeves Electro is also doing it. As far as I know, Reeves was the first guy doing it. I don't quote me on that, but it's beautiful. And this is Paperboy. This is the stank face. I love it. Now, one thing you'll notice too, just as we go through this, you'll notice when you turn the volume all the way back, you get this really horrible hum. That's standard to a lot of old fuzz faces and a lot of old fuzz pedals. These are things that are normal, and we'll talk about it. Cleanup on that is awesome. Here's my Expresso Effects Germanium fuzz. This was the first fuzz face I got. It was and still is the one I measure all the others against. It's awesome. This is another one. This is an Expresso Effects with BC 108 transistors. The enclosure is a little different, but it has a number of transistor options, and it has a bias control for the second transistor. Again, all these technical things, we're not going to get into like what they're doing, but it's essentially changing the voltage to the second transistor. It makes it fatter and wider. I'll show you the range, but you know, I'm not going to show you the range. You know what? I'm not going to show you the range. I'm going to set it the way I set it. This is a BC 108 fuzz face. Now, this is the first silicon one. This is the first of all these that has silicon transistors. Silicon transistors, different than germanium. Again, there's so much information out there about transistors. One of the things that gets overblown to me is, oh, they're so different. That is a similar sound to all the rest. It's different, but different transistors sound different too. And I have harsher sounding germanium and thinner sounding germanium and harsher sounding silicon and less harsh sounding, smoother sounding silicon and purple silicon and whatever. It's not, again, the A-B thing. These general sort of things don't matter. This one's great. This is from Isle of Tone. These are really expensive. They're really cool. Part of the reason is handmade knobs, custom mixed paints, just incredible craftsmanship in and out. Really, really unique transistors. If somebody said, does it sound, 20 times better than the ones that cost less? No, it doesn't. It just sounds different. It sounds great. It sounds great. But so do all my other fuzz faces. Now it has, again, a fatness setting. This is the fattest. It's incredible sounding, right? So here is the godfather of the fuzz face. The background noise. The godfather of the fuzz face. Not the godfather, because that would be Dallas or Arbiter or whoever was making the fuzz face, whatever their names were. But the sort of the granddaddy, like, boutique builder of the fuzz face, Analogman. Analog Mike Pira. He's awesome. And, you can probably sell these used for more than you buy them new. And you can buy them new and they show up in 4 weeks, 3 weeks. So it's pretty crazy. This is a germanium version. Here's a BC107 transistor fuzz face from Cascade pedals. I love this one too. This is the Kasleder Vintage King. Kasleder? I don't know how to pronounce his name. It has a control on it called the beard control, which makes it fuzzier or less fuzzy. This is less fuzzy here. And then here's fuzzier. You know, it sounds to me like it's either an input cap control or a bias control. I don't know which. I like it. I use it all the time. It's a really cool way to adjust the way the fuzz sounds. And then finally, yet another Analogman. This is the BC183. Okay, so right off the bat, you could hear that that last one didn't clean up quite the same, and then I moved the fuzz control back just a little bit. Where's my phone? I'm going to show you. So you can see the difference, even just a little bit of moving the control but depending on how the knob is put on the thing, it could be different. I mean, there are these really little notches that are in the pots. It's not a notch. It's just once a certain thing adjusts setting-wise, voltage-wise, or whatever within the two transistors, the changes become dramatic. So I kind of try to find that point where I have the fuzziest sound for me. I try to find the point where I have the fuzziest sound that also cleans up the best. Now, some people just want the full-on. This is the paper boy. Some people just want the full-on. And some people just want the clean. It's really nice, and you can hear that buzz again, right? It's really nice. So these are my favorite fuzz pedals. And the reason for that is it's the style, the style of fuzz pedal. Because every transistor sounds different. None of them sound bad. You're not going to make a wrong decision. One of the reasons I have more than 10 fuzz faces, these are just the ones I could round up real quick. One of the reasons I have more than 10 fuzz faces is because each one sounds different, and it's just fun to have fuzz. I just like collecting them. Any single one of these would work fine on a gig or on a session, and nobody would be like, oh, can you bring that other fuzz face? Now, that all being said, some things that I really love on a fuzz face. Let's go back to the my Valvinist. The input cap selection on this thing. Fuzz faces don't do great in a full band, multiple guitar player environment because they don't cut through. If I put this on the middle position, it sounds more like an overdrive. And it cuts through the mix way better, which can be nice if I have, multiple players there. Now, it's not usually why I would use a fuzz face. I would use a fuzz face in a power trio, or if there was like maybe an organ player, right? That all being said, let's just go fast. Let's go through again in order with the fuzzes. This is the fuzz face. Message transfer device. Stank face. Expresso. Expresso number 2. The Haze 67. Analogman Bart RCA. Cascade Gnomon. Kasleder Vintage King. And finally, the Sunface BC 183. The first thing that I notice is they all sound very different, and yet they have some similar characteristics. That really big booty, which is really nice. Let's do the same thing with the cleanup. If I just turn my volume down, here's my full on volume. If I turn it down, again, fuzz fade. Message transfer device. Stank face. Expresso effects Germanium. Expresso BC 108 silicon fuzz face. Haze 67. Bart RCA Sunface. Again, those needed a little adjustment. The Analogmans seem to need a little bit less fuzz to clean up the same way. It's just what it is. Gnomon. Kasleder. And the BC 183. So, obviously they all sound different. They all sound good. At the end of the day, those are all great sounds, and you might have your own preference. I certainly have mine. But it also depends on the situation. The other thing that you may have noticed, I had to turn that other Analogman down a little bit at the fuzz. So the Analogman fuzzes. Let me give you another video of everything. Here's our current settings again, and you can see the Analogman fuzzes versus like the Expresso fuzz, which is turned up higher. The Expresso fuzz is turned up higher. The fuzz control on this guy is actually over here, etc., etc. But what we're talking about is it could be as simple as he's using a different taper pot, or there's a different resistor somewhere that's allowing that pot to taper back differently, that's giving an adjusted voltage in various fuzz faces. I have built some of my own, and I use a different taper pot so that the fuzz control has much more of a range. These are much more vintage style fuzzes, which again I really enjoy. I really enjoy the interaction that I have with each one of them. Let's just do some random fuzz faces so you can hear what they're doing. Let's go to neck pickup. It's a pretty common thing. Let's go BC 183 first. Haze 67. Bart, Sunface. How about the Cascade, the Gnomon? To the Kasleder. Here's the Paperboy. How about the original Fuzzface? The Expresso Germanium Fuzz. Valvenist Fuzz. The Expresso BC 108. I don't know, we're just messing around. Let's go bridge pickup. Gnomon. I just backed the bias off slightly. The Bart, the Sunface. The Haze 67. The message transfer device from the Valvenist. How about the Fuzzface again? Germanium Fuzz from Expresso. So as you can see, I've switched guitars. I now have a P90 in the bridge, still a fiber pickup in the neck. They seem to be my favorite pickups. And there you have it. Let's do the same thing. Let's just go through them again real quick. Here's the Fuzzface. Valvenist message transfer device. Stankface from Paperboy. Germanium Fuzz from Expresso. BC 108 from Expresso. The Haze 67 from Isle of Tone. RCA. Cascade, Gnomon. Kasleder, Vintage King. And the Sunface, BC 183. So, they all sound great, they all sound different, they all have a personality, and the thing that I'm looking for, and I'm going to say it until I turn purple, is I'm looking for inspiration. I'm looking for the thing that makes me go, I'm excited to play this. And so one of the reasons I have 90 fuzz faces is that, when I get up in the morning, and I'm going to do an Instagram video, and I want a fuzz face, it doesn't have to be the same one every time. I love all of these fuzz faces. Let me do one more thing, which is going to be putting a buffer in front of the fuzz face. So I think this is sort of the other big misunderstanding when it comes to fuzz faces, is a lot of times we will put the tuner first in our chain. And what that does is it makes a fuzz face not see the guitar properly. Okay, so I have a Boss TU3 tuner plugged in. I don't think that's true bypass. We'll see. And I'm going to turn on the, how about the Analogman BC 183. Now, it's not cleaning up. It sounds much brighter and harsher. All right, same pedal, no buffer. I mean, we don't need a better example than that. So make sure you put your fuzz faces first. I'm not going to do the battery versus power supply thing. There's plenty of stuff out there on this. These are all pedals that I have paid for. I think most of them I paid for. If not, I would have bought all of them. They're all phenomenal. Let me try and recap what I misunderstood about fuzz, and why I love fuzz faces and why they're my main favorite fuzz pedal. So I didn't understand how the instrument used to interact with the fuzz pedal and how the volume control could go from really glassy cleans to really nice drive. If you are going into a super clean amp, it's not going to work. A lot of people will use a overdrive to try to take some highs and some lows and kind of control the sort of like ice picky high end of it. But again, you got to be really careful, and that's a whole separate video of what overdrive you like to use in front of a fuzz. I don't like using high headroom amps. I like using lower headroom amps. So I just get the amp a little crunchy and I hit it. If I am using a fuzz pedal I don't really do it. So I don't have a good answer for you. I don't love hitting a tube screamer with a fuzz pedal or a clon, although people do that stuff and it sounds great. So again, these are my opinions. It's only my opinion. Let me caveat that first. It's only my opinion. I personally like hitting an amp, and if I'm playing in a smaller venue, I'd rather bring a 4-watt amp or a 5-watt amp and have them mic it than bring a 100-watt amp and have to play really quiet. That's not how I roll. I love this Plexi. I also, again, love my Tweed style, Tweed Deluxe style amp. If you really want to really delve into my pedal, my fuzz pedal sound, you can always go to my Instagram. It's at Matt Bradford Music. Every day, most days, there is a video. I always put the pedal up on the video so you can see it, and all of these pedals are featured, as well as many other fuzzes and fun pedals. And hopefully we can continue to do a deep dive into fuzz. This is just the tip of the metaphorical iceberg. But yeah, man, thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed it.